dabda halkan wuxuu ugu jiraa sidee bay u baahan tahay Somaliland marka inay u dhaqanto hadiyo goor alle waa aragteen iyada oo Somaliland ay leedahay dalal kale aan la kulmaynaa marka dalalka kale marka la kulmayso Somaliland waxa loo baahan yahay inay u dhaqanto sidii dal waayo shuruudihii dal lagu noqonayay iyo statehoodkii iyo aqoonsigii iyo waxaan ku yiri madax banaanidii intiiba way qaadatay Somaliland laakiin waxa ku dhacay waxay ahayd qabsatay xoog bay ku qabsatay gaana waxa cadeyn u ah dhacdooyinka xaqiiqada ah ee la og yahay ee yaala ee jira 1961 dhacay ee Somaliland aragtay in la afduubay oo dalku afduuban yahay dadkii nimankii isku dayay inay dalka ka soo qaadaan ama ay ka saaraan afduubka ay ku jiraan waxaana ay ku guuldareysteen markii nimankii la qabtay ee la isla xukumayna la yiri sharci aan idinku xukunno ma hayno anagu waayo nimankani waxa ay ka soo jeedaan dal la yiraahdo Somaliland dalkana de Somaliland ma aha xukun iyo wax qabanayana ma jiraan de inta ka dibna dadkii waxaan ku xooga ku haystay 1999 ayay ku guuleysteen marka inay cadawgii haystay xooga ku haystay iska saaraan oo dabeetana dalkoodii ay dib loo tana ay taagtaan maamulkoodii iyo dawladoodii ay dhistaan marka halkaas marka ay marayso waxaan u baahanahay inaynu baranno inaynu u dhaqanno sidii aynu nahay dalkii ahaa 1960kii 1927 June sidaynu u dhaqmi lahayn oo kale in maanta u dhaqanno weey dalkii aanaynu ogoleyn inaynu dalnahay inaynu diidno wixii inoo diidan inaynu la dhaqanno hostile marka halkaas aynu u baahanahay inaynu la fagurno oo ay naga daadegto oo aynu sida faatixada aynu u baranno taariikhda dalkeena uu leeyahay ka waxa inoo fududaanaysa sidaan caalamka
political issues within Somaliland. But one thing you and I know that aid is being used as a soft powers here, and the diplomats are using aid to really dictate to our government. You know, we know there are frameworks, we know how the world works, we know how UN and UK work, but they cannot dictate to say that your people are starving, for example, you know, and making our government unreasonable, look unreasonable. This is what's happening. I think we need to really raise awareness, and you have been doing that, but I feel like the public are not on the ball here. Somaliland public need to be aware of what's going on. The approach here and the attempt is to change the fabric and the very asset of Somaliland. This is what it is. You know, and there's connection, of course, what's happening in the East. Lower anything that suggests nationalism, patriotism, all that is what's going on in the Eastern region. And on the other hand, all those people who were really used to speak about Somaliland independence, used to be on ball on things in political arena, now all they do is party politics. They've been misled to party politics. But I think Somaliland government really need help themselves because they've been cornered, I think, here. Things are changing rapidly. Those elders and Takamaha people, they don't speak for everybody in Somaliland. Yes, we respect them. Yes, they have a place in Somaliland society, but they cannot speak for everyone. And that has to be apparent here. We also need to know what our government is doing. This government is the most secretive government so far, of what we can see. Have they been quizzed? What happened when they came back on UAE? What they've been agreed? Who's the opposition here? I think, Edna, there's a lot of things, but it comes down to the core issue of the independence and sovereignty of Somaliland. And you're absolutely right and on ball here. And if we don't use that, it's going to be very dangerous. So my contribution here is Somaliland people must use 26th of June, 1960. I actually don't oppose these diplomats that come to Somaliland, that their title is for Somalia. They can come even if the capacity is that they want to really work in equal foot. I'm not against because they can have more than one role. Some of them I discussed with them. Even myself, I've been offered, Edna, would you believe it? I've been offered UN money to go back to Somaliland and work on people projects so that people can say, go to hell the government, what they do. We are same people, we have same interests. We need to eat. We need to prioritize ourselves. And that is the approach they take in. And I had to decline that. But unfortunately, some Somalilanders took that opportunity. And they are working on these people-to-people projects that are designed to bring Somalia's people into Somaliland, very sadly. But we're not going to let them off the hook. I think we should be on the ball. We should really quiz the government. We should hold them to accountable. Yeah, this is really an attempt to Somaliland. They know it's our people's our asset. We have our people, Somaliland. To really wipe up the nationalism. Waxaas baladoonaya nationalism kayaga inaa la dhameeyo. Ma garanaysaa? Marka I really think that Somaliland government, what they are trying to do is say, look, there are framework here, for example. UN works as a framework. UK works in a framework. We have to help the people. People are starving. People have a conflict. Waxaas dhan waa perpetrating. It helps them to keep in post. There are millions and millions of pounds now that have been approved, UN money, in order to bring to Somaliland closer to Somalia. This has been said to me one-to-one by these diplomats. Edna, you and I talked about it before. And what is really shocking to me is that months before the election, November election, months before that, things I was told face-to-face by these diplomats is been happening on track, day after day. They're on course doing what they needed to do. So let's not really be scared. This is the scaremongers here. But let's not be scared. Somaliland people, what we have is our people, our nationalism. 26th of June, we have our borders. We have well known. Why is the white man, an American guy and a British guy, have to speak on behalf of Somaliland? And our politicians are shying away. Why? We know we have to work with people, but we have to have alternatives. Is British people, had they done in a certain way, we can say no. But we can bring other people on board, alternative. The Scandinavian countries, to work with them. So that doesn't mean that our people will starve. It doesn't mean that we will be in conflict. We will have other options. Somaliland government must exercise their options. They have so many things they can do. One example is we know those rules, how they work. If a Somali family, of Somaliland, UK uchogo, some families, aruurta waa laga qaadi karaa. Adigoo aruurtaadii dhalay baa laga qaadi karaa. Adigoo taagan. Why? You cannot say they're my kids, because that's what the rules are. If you abuse them, if you neglect them, waa laga qaadaya wax loo geenaya qof kale. So we know these frameworks have powers. Lakin we also have alternative. We can work with Iceland, for example. There are countries wanted to work with Somaliland. So many countries really wanted to invest in Somaliland, to work with them in partnership. You know who? The British, UK in Somalia, and UN in Somalia. They're the problem now. They become the biggest problem for Somaliland. And Somaliland government must be aware of that. Resources can come later, but recognition is what we need. Even if we have a political recognition, we need consensus across the board. And this consensus, it can come, you go to the next one, another country, you widen your choice. So coming to the main point, and I really want to help you on this one. Somaliland people, yes, we can never be tired, Walalo. We have to keep on it all the time. We have to say it as it is. Why not? That can education. We have to increase it. We have to tell them. We have to give them the information. But practical things, we should not wait. My opinion, we should not wait the government. Dowladda Somaliland, wax kasta ma hayna inaga u dirno. We have to do things for ourselves. Dowladda Ingiriiska anigu intaa waxbaan u qoraa every time, so that later on they cannot say they don't know. I'm perpetrating as well. Every step aan arko qaadanayna, I'll always write to them and say this is my reservations. And don't take it for granted for Somaliland people, even if they don't know what is going on. There's always consequences of what you're doing. And we know, as a diaspora community, we can see what is happening. It's very clear to us. Marka walaalo, there's a lot of work I'm doing on here. Lakin are they going to keep going? Walaalo, I just came on to support you that bit. People are not in the same understanding, Edna. They're not in the same take on these things. So walaalo, keep on it. Inshallah, keep going. But I know what's going on at the moment in Somaliland, and that is to change our belief, the fabric of Somaliland in Alabadalo. It is what's going on now. SNM talaga bilabo, all their sympathizers. Then again, lagu xujiyo dadka kale, and for those two states, Lascaanood and the other Awdal, ina marka la shirin gareeyo, dowladda ina la koona gareeyo, la yiraahdo, look, there is a million is waiting for you here. Look, it's been approved. Lacagta is already in the kitty. So how can you say no? Waa soft powers. Waxaasoo dhan waan garanayna. Lakin Somaliland hadday lacagta no tiraahdo will stack. One of the things that I supported for the previous government, even if he was starving, Musabih, he wouldn't be changing his mind. Mubadalen, because Somaliland sovereignty, and he was seen as a SNM. Isaga waxa loo arkay he represents that era of Somaliland, which is the part of the problem they see, and that's why they gang on him. Marka ogaada Somaliland ogaada baan idin oran lahaa, threat baa nagu soconaya, lakin the only way we can come through it is to stay on course. Waa mahadsantiin, hadda waan ku socoli walaal.
Girl, thank you, Lalo, for the hard work. Lakin, dhibaatadan is the root cause kaanu garanaynin. Dowladdii Musabixi, she was in the same predicament, Walalo. SNM or no SNM. Waa wala ku eedeeyaa everything because they were SNM. Hence, they were unable to do much. So there is no difference. I don't see. I feel like things are just getting worse.
No, but the principle, Edna, I think Somaliland internal politics. If I claim I know, I'll be wrong. But one thing Musabih stood for, even if he wasn't doing the right thing, he stood for liberation. He stood for Somaliland. He stood for SNM, and that is what these people are fighting against. That's what it is. Dadka Somaliland waxa loo arkayaa in dadka who believe Somaliland are the SNM and their sympathizers. So that has to go first. That's why you will see the coming months and years that will be lowered. It will disappear. No one will mention. There will not be symbols about the SNM. That's part of the approach. It's going on now, Walalo. So I'm not saying he was angel, but he had the principle. That's one thing I know. And this government, yes, they're doing wrong, or that they're still early days. They're still settling. They're still, it's early days to criticize them. I wouldn't want to them, but they have to not be dictated by these two diplomats. They seem that every time we can see what's going on. The diplomats is the same as you and I. They got a post. They're entertaining their governments. So we can go straight to their government and say, look, what's going here? What kind of framework are they working? Have they got two roles? Tell us if they've got two roles. Are they working with Somalia and are they working for Somaliland? In what capacity? What are the strands here that we work in? Is it humanitarian? Is it political? What is it? Spell it out for us. Well, there's so many questions, and I think the only good things that need to happen here, that we need to hold the government into account, and not publicly, but right, people can go to them. We are doing it behind the scene. We're writing to them. We're pressurizing them. We're asking them not to listen to the diplomats and go straight to these countries, put alternative on the tables, work with other countries. But then we would want to work with Somaliland. The Scandinavians, they would like to work with Somaliland. So why our interests and everything have to really boil down to UK government and UN? Why? Why? We can say, toast it. Good luck to you. We could go to other venues. Marka walaalo, saas baa ku sheegay adna walaalo. Laakiin, and you know, the thing about the government, anigu waxaan doonaya Somaliland people not to look at the government that has all the answers. They don't. They don't have all the answers. Besides, this government is just newly built. They have to get the right experience and the right connections. They have a long, long way to go. We don't have to wait for them, but the public have to do what they can, especially the diasporas. We got to question so many things, walalo. And we have to bring it to forefront. I like to see the spaces, marka la yimaado la discuss gareynayo. We have to have solutions. Usually I listen. I don't talk in these spaces, but I do listen and learn. But always think about, where's the solution then? What is the next step? Practically, what can we do, you and I? What can we do? And we have to always come up with a solution. At least one tiny one. You know? So without solution, no, our time is pressure. We have to come up, we have to write to the media, alternative. If the government media being controlled now, we have to get freelance medias. X is powerful. You see what's happening in America and how X is being used. We're a very powerful tool. X, we have to really value that. We can change things on X. And every day we're on it, but we're not using it the right way. We have to propose things we want, even if it's in one issue, one thing that we can all agree and put our weight behind it and drive it. We can do it. Lacagta imika US aid is all up in the air. It's not going to be stopped for everybody, but at least we can question them. We can, let's have a solution. Let's have a practical steps. It's our country, our people are in stake here. The government also need help. We have to support them, but we also have to challenge them in a way that it will help them do the right thing. We cannot come on a space and every time criticize newly formed government. You know, even though I don't really get involved with the political arena, I rather stay in social sectors. There have to be other sectors in Somaliland that we can empower. Private sector, social sector. Even the NGOs, a lot of people, I worked in NGOs, I worked in public sector. They have powers. We have to, Somaliland, we have to create these things so that it can challenge the government when they're doing wrong, but it can also support if they're doing the right thing. You know, we don't want the UN diplomats come and dictating for us, spelling for us. That kind of they're in the same arena as me. And I know how they work, how they think, how they move. And I'm aware of it. Keep at it is what I would say to you. And, keep having a patience. I know that the previous space that you were listening to earlier, people don't have the same understanding, but they're discussing it openly. That's a good thing. That's a good thing to discuss it, but also to have a practical walalo. If we don't have practical steps, wallahi, we will not do it. I have personal experience. Somaliland, I got involved Somaliland and become interested 2023 was the first time personally, not my family, obviously they were involved. And even that time up to now, the things I've achieved, I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased what I've achieved. And that's just me, one person. You know, there's so many things that we can do individually, as a group, as a region. Not to alienate. I see even my, some of my people from the eastern region, I don't want to go into there and it's off topic, Edna, but if you may allow me, we have to take everybody with us. We have to speak as a region, not as a tribe, or because we have to look at who else has the same interest as us, Walalo. That way it will strengthen. The Eastern region problem is the red zone, designated red zone, I know. I tried to employ teachers to take it there, I couldn't. British Council gave me a few teachers, English teachers. I couldn't take them to Somaliland in that region because of the travel advice in that area. Why? You might ask yourself. You might ask yourself, why do we have second tier of government in the Eastern region? During the election, that was apparent. I myself was called. What was the nickname for the people who supported in previous government? I can't remember, but even me, I was accused that I was politically supporting previous government. No. I support Somaliland day and night. We have dilemma. We have issues that we never speak to. The elephant in the room, Edna, Walalo, the elephant in the room, people in Eastern region, they have to. During the election, they haven't had, they voted without condition. That was the problem. What did they put on the table? What was it? Few people to be employed. Few named people to be employed by the new government. That's not ask. While we still have a designated red zones, while we still have last honored people penetrating our cities and towns and have roles there, So I think it's very, very difficult to allow, but the core thing that we can do is only count of what we as a group, whether it's a diaspora, whether it's Somalilanders in the country, what we can do for ourselves, for our community, for our regions. That's all we can count for. Not aid, not anybody else to come and solve our problems, not the newly formed government that we can see. They have to go a long way to get where they want to go, a long, long way. Marka waan ku soo celiyay walaalo, it's off topic, lakin I thought I'll come in and contribute those things. Lakin let's do practical. Somalilanders, don't come to a space just to discuss issue. If you're going to bring an issue, come along with a solution as well. Every problem that you raise, you must have solution for it. You, everybody. Some of the people on this space, they run the spaces and they have influences. Use your influence. Find solutions. Someone else might have the same solution, and then you can support one another. Maaragtan, without solution, hatagina marka space can imaka X were very powerful. We can hashtag everybody. The person who's sitting the UN table, who is now considering UN money to go to Somalia, if we have a campaign and we tag them, they will have to ask a question and say, look, hang on a minute. These people are making different case than what we have on the table. Let's listen to them. Why would they say this? There are people who oppose this idea. Can we learn more? At least we can delay things, even if we can't change them. Marka anigu contribution kayga waxa weeyaan halkan. Solution comes from you guys. Solution comes from Somalilanders. Solution comes from small or big group, not the government. The government are tools. It's our tools. We tell them what to do. Huh? Sorry, Edna. I'm in public space, but I'll listen to you more. I'll let others. Hello, Abdiqani. Abdiqani, I go to his spaces, but lately I don't know. Where is he on? Edna, you will tell me. Abdiqani wa kusalamia. And Ibn Ali wa salamia. Ibn Ali, we have event on 21st of February here. If you're around, come. We're supporting the family of Abdel Nasser, Allah Rahma, his family in East London. The event is being run by, I'm just going to give them shout out, Edna, if you don't mind. The event has been organized by UK Alliance. We're going to be there as well. So few Somalilanders are going to be there to brainstorm what's going on and give each other update. So anybody in London, 21st of February, please come and help Abdel Nasser Dahab's family. So that's a shout out. I know others did something. Let's also help the army that is fighting in the eastern region. Let's not wait anybody else. Everybody, as big as little, what you can do. Please do your bit. Watch social responsibility. Is small or big. Do what you can. Someone else might do something. We raised a huge amount of money for a short period of time. Do what you can. Somaliland needs you now more than ever. More than ever, believe me. We used to live in luxury before. Now is the time. Do your bit, please. Thank you.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Can I jump in a bit, Edna?
Ibn Ali, give me one moment, Walalo. Let's go back to the topic. The root cause. I realize Somalilanders ka root cause kay garan waayen. Forget about independence and statehood. You also waxaad iska indhatirtay basic human rights, universal basic human rights. You have the rights to those. Waxaan arkay inanteeni, there's a person here I truly love. Nizar, salam alaikum walalo. You see, Somalilanders ka is knowledge is power. Lakin waxaan gartay knowledge can Somalilanders are not prone to it. We didn't. So there's something in Somalilanders ka. There's something within us. Taasoo inaan garano. Waayo, waxaad oran kartaa wax ma garanayo. Beautiful. Aniga igan maan garanaynin. Absolutely, I was clueless. Lakin I was open to learn. Waxaan isweydiinaynaa Somalilander ka, why are they not open to learning? Somaliland waxaa la siiyey the rights to self-determination, the country Somaliland, on 26 June 1960. Maanta, siyaasiintiina, meel walba markay tegaan, waxay oranayaan, anagu waxaan rabnaa the rights to self-determination. You are given this right. So you see, narrative and jirin meel walba geynaysaan is both us, the citizens, and also the politicians. And then we wonder why no one wants to deal with us. It's illegal to deal with a place like meel kale ka go'day. There's international law, haniba Ingiriiska, haniba Amerikaanka. You know, when you pursue things with authenticity, aday ku jirto authenticity, waxaad heli doontaan meesha guntaad gaari doontaan. Amerikaankana la hadalay. Amerikaanka Somalilanders waa ka qarin jiray. Only a few people were able to penetrate the Americans. Alhamdulillah, we have found ways to penetrate. They are clueless on what Somaliland is. Absolutely clueless. Hawdan and hawdgal waxa la kugu yiri xafiis ka furan meesha. They have never sold the correct narrative of Somaliland. People who are being paid money. It's many offices. From 19, I don't know, got a Hafiziyashan La Forêt Somal and United Nations, United States. Magaranayo. Kadalika, Ingiriiska. I called Hafizka Ingiriiska. Wa adeerkay. I asked him hard questions. The answers were appalling. Hafizka Ingiriiska. They are clueless. Waxay caalamka Ingiriiska ay u gudbiyeen was shocking. The excuse was equally as shocking. Hadana waa adeerkay. Okay? And then we come here and we say caalamka na diiday. No, caalamka muna diidin. Anaka we put Somalian ka dhignay tana naga masuul ah. Waxa la kugu waranaya Somalia Afrikaanka u tag. Go to the African Union. If 26 June is not important, why is the African fact-finding mission, looga saaray the African Union website? Look at that, how powerful your credentials are. Perhaps China ka saartay, because waxan inuu jirin Union, African Union fact-finding mission, an organization that is anti-secession, ka saartay. And then siyaasiintiada information soo galaan waxay isku soo taxaan PhD, laakiin siyaasiintiina waxay isku hubaan. I'm telling you the truth. Waxay isku hubaan tribal power. Qabiilkayga istaagaya. I can guarantee you Somaliland xuquuqdeeda anaka jabinay. taasa cunaha nagu dhigtay SNM aniga SNM ta always I put SNM out there all the time. SNM are the premier freedom fighters. They are national lawful liberators. Even in international law way qaadan waayeen. SNM were the only freedom fighters within 2 years a civilian role ay u gudbisay marka waxaas automatically waxay noqonayaan national lawful liberators. Laakiin SNM markuu meeshan qabsado, I realize cilada, somehow they feel guilt. Somehow they feel, dowladan ridnay. That is not true. They came back to their borders. Hence, wala cunaqabateya. SNM has been vilified. I rather not an SNM in Somaliland. I'm hoping President Iro inona dhegeyso because isaga this burden of SNM masarna. Mujahid Silanyo ilaahu naxariisto Musabixi ma garanayaan what they did. Ismay iib geynin as national lawful liberators immediately wala qadarin lahaa. Lakin iyaka they fell into the trap wadan aad burburiseen. The Isaac genocide was sanitized labadan SNM markay meeshan haysteen. Absolutely destroyed in Somaliland. Waxa la ka dhiga a historical event. Waad murmi kartaan waxaad oran kartaa way ka haldaan. They put no. When they talk about the Isaac genocide, it's from a historical perspective. Okay? waxaad arkaysa waxay oranayaan civil war meeshan ka dhacay. Genocide waa la iska ilaalinaya. Waxay oranayaan massacre, atrocities.
Lakin, Edna, I agree with you those points, Edna. Lakin, even if we have 26th of June, we're independent, we have a sovereign, still we need to penetrate the world. We need to deal with countries. And the countries in the world, if they want to work with Somaliland, who do they go to? Who they ask for advice? Who they ask for support? Of course, United Kingdom and UN in this case.
God.
So
Okay.
are they not being supported in the right way?
That is a valid point, but why is that is a question. There is an answer
we have to
here.
change. I totally agree with you. We have to change that approach.
Let's forget about 26th June. Let's say that is stated. Like who sits at the United Nations saying that you are part of it? United Nations ka kursigaas wax walba haga. So who sits on that seat claiming that you are part of it? English it cannot fight that. America cannot fight that. We have to fight that. This is the point.
We have to empower our government and we have to empower ourselves in order to change a whole that approach. Is part of the problem, is all we need to justify. All we need to show is that it's been a part of the problem. There are so many countries in the world that can work with us and have worked with Somaliland successfully. So we have to use that. But I'm afraid all this approach now with this new government, Edna, everything has been spelled out to me. Where are they going with this? Is, as you said earlier in your conversation as well, is to give power to Somalia. It's a transition, UN transition is in charge here. That's why that money was given. That's why UN money was given to them. Millions of UN money to Somalia in order to come out of trusteeships to full-fledged country in expense of Somaliland. So what are we going to do? Why are we standing by? That's the question here.
How the problem is not even Somalia. Edna is right. I think Article 45 of the Articles on State Responsibility, you can somebody can do something wrong to you and you can forgo the right because you're not contesting it, you're not objecting to it, you're not raising the situation. Can I just go on a quick rant, Edna? I'm not going to be long. We discussed to make the understanding for the people to be easy and quick. So I came up with a recent post, so I'm just going to go over it just now. The 1894 Anglo-Italian Treaty, this treaty created the border between Somaliland and Somalia. Somaliland inherited this border according to international law. Equally, Somalia inherited this border. This border is supposed to be superseded by an agreement that is supposed to remove it or amend it. But that agreement doesn't exist. Therefore, in accordance to Article 27 of the Vienna Convention, you cannot use your internal law to justify not applying international law. Therefore, in international law, Somaliland has never been part of Somalia. Listen to me carefully. According to international law, Somaliland has never been part of Somalia. So if you go and look at the implications for this, the countries that recognize this situation, they are violating international law, because Article 1 of the UN Charter, the right of, is called Skogans. It's a parametry norms. Article 1 of the UN, the right to self-determination is being violated. Article 2, territorial integrity, political independency, and equality of states is being violated. If you go to the Articles on State Responsibility, it tells them what to do. Article 40 and 41 prohibits the recognition of a situation that has been created by violation of international law. So, you can see the United Kingdom is violating international law, including human rights, treaties, customary international law, and use organs. So that is in short. Thank you.
I think Hassan is what we're going to do about it. Let's just focus on what actions are we going to take.
The first action we're doing. I've been learning. Last year when I met Edna for the first time, I was happy. I went through a journey of like discovery, of learning about international law, about Somaliland, and everybody's going through this journey. We need to encourage, to educate more people, but the most important bit that we can do is those letters you're writing. So the letters,
I do write the letters thinking that, yes,
they are very helpful.
I'm opposing an idea. Somebody told someone false narrative about me. If I write to that person and say, look, this is the real story, I've done my job. This is what the assets are.
Allah
You can just ask, write that question, ask him to ask in government, and wait for the reply, because